Welcome to the first episode of Alternate Ending, coming live to you live, I guess, straight from the Jarasinski basement. I'm your host, Robert Jarasinski. Sitting across from me is my beautiful wife, Carrie Jarasinski. Do you like that I said beautiful wife?
It's flattering.
Well, I'm trying to give you some flattery because obviously I feel like you're doing this a little bit against your will. So I feel like flattery will take me very far in this journey. But this is our first podcast. Alternate Ending is official now, I guess. So I guess I should start with what is alternate ending for the first time listeners, which would be everybody. The goal of alternate ending, what we're setting out to do, is not to be formal film critics or anything like that. What we're setting out to do is discover good movies, one bad movie at a time. I think, what was it, 2 months ago that I decided I wanted to do a podcast?
I think it was.
2 months ago? Okay. So 2 months ago, I decided, hey, it'd be fun to sit down and talk about movies. And I actually was a little nervous because I felt like you need to have a little bit more pedigree to do a podcast. But when I was sitting down to go through and check to see how many movies I had seen, and this was back in November-ish, calculating how many movies I actually went to go see, it was an absurd amount.
It was absurd.
It was absurd. I thought I was legitimately, truthfully, I thought 50. I thought it was going to be 50 movies is what I thought. When I asked you what...
For when? For what time frame?
Like November. Like I thought I'd be at 50.
For the year.
For the year. I felt like I had seen 50 movies.
I didn't feel like that. I felt like it was much more.
What was your guess again? You had guessed what?
Let's see. Based on the amount of hours I was watching our children while you were watching movies, I would have said much higher, like 500.
Based on my lack of parenting, okay. You would have said more. So that's a good gauge. You would have said what was it?
Maybe like 500.
500 movies.
500 movies.
No. I think when I asked you to guess.
No, when I guessed, I think I said. Did I say 200?
No, I think you said 80.
I said 80.
You said 80, and
okay.
Surprisingly, if I recall, I was at 100. And I felt like in order to even go down the road of doing a podcast, like I needed to really put away 200 movies a year. And when I thought about that ratio, it scared me at first. But when I found out that I had done 100, thinking it was a bad year, because we've been watching a lot of shows lately.
Right.
We've been doing a lot of, so we have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. So our time is a little bit consumed with that process. So I wanted to make sure that we could go to the well enough times to see enough to actually achieve that goal of discovering good movies by watching bad movies one at a time. So yeah, I'm not nervous about that anymore. And I remember too, how many movies now have you seen for this year? Because so jump forward. I finished the year. Spoiler alert, I finished the year with 150 movies watched. How many movies do you know roughly?
I think roughly 27.
27, which is actually interesting. So
roughly speaking, 27 and a half movies probably.
So it's interesting that you say 27 and a half. What's the half actually? Now I'm curious. Unless it's one of yours unless it's going to spoil
where I've fallen
something.
Asleep.
Oh, where you fall. So those count as half.
So really I've seen like 50 movies.
I've seen 50, okay.
Sort of. Many halves comprise getting to 27.
Gotcha.
I would say.
Gotcha.
So 50.
But so 27 is actually an interesting number because when I was doing research for what like an average person watches, it's 20 to 30 is what, when I was Googling, like I saw as low as 20, as high as 30 is what the average human being. So I'm up like 5 times, 6 times more than the average person, which is pretty crazy. But just the viewing, the consumption, that aside, that's not the reason why. Like I grew up watching a lot of movies, kind of raised by movies. Originally went to Northwestern University to study film, and I got a little disenchanted with that process. The whole film studies course, I felt like I was getting just very critical of the thing I loved, and I didn't want to critique it. I just wanted to watch it and enjoy it. So yeah, I dropped out of film school, and honestly, I didn't have the chops. Like we have mutual friend Tim Brayton, professional film critic, now living in Madison. Actually, he'll probably be a guest on the show in the future. He's very talented writer. Like he studies films, and I'm not quite there yet where I want to like dive dive into it to that level, and I don't even know if I have the ability to critique something on that level. So maybe we'll have him on in a future show, because I'd love to get inside his head when he looks at a movie. I mean, you've sat with him, like the things he brings up about a movie. Are you aware of those types of things?
I think it's pretty safe to say I'm not. Yeah, I think
the plot escapes you, so there's no way you're picking up on lighting, and
no.
It's like, who's that guy again? What's his name? So yeah, I don't imagine you're picking up on.
I just nod a lot when I'm
Yes.
around him,
Yeah.
and just kind of like, scratch my chin and kind of squint like I'm really really involved, really really taking in what he's saying, but really I'm thinking about other things. I don't know what he's talking about.
So we're not going to be getting that probably from us, right? Like that's not
Right, no.
that's not our role, I think, in this journey. I mean, truth be told, there's so many movies out there in the world today, and I'll be honest with you, there's so many bad movies. Let me just pull up my list right here. I have our budget too, like on the same spreadsheet, so I won't be sharing our budget term. By the way, is it weird to be here in our basement with our children asleep doing this right now? Is that odd for you at all, or is the wine helping that process?
I think the idea that you think that they're actually asleep up there is nice.
I think they're asleep.
We'll see.
That's what gets me through this show. So I'm looking at my stats here. Of the 150, quick breakdown, pretty much an even split of Netflix and Amazon. 40% Netflix, 39% Amazon. Our neighbor Leif Erikson was kind enough to give us a subscription to HBO Go. I don't really know if he knew what he was giving, letting us have by doing that. He's probably like, oh, I'm sure they'll like check out a movie once a month or once a year. I've used it pretty extensively, but since getting it, only 3% of my movies have been HBO Go. Surprisingly, 17 trips to the theater, or 11% theater. And then Redbox and other kind of stuff make up the rest of that. So that's just like an interesting thing, I thought. One interesting thing too is what percentage for you do you feel like, and if we're going on a 5-star rating, 1 star being the lowest, 5-star being the best, like what percentage for you would you say that the movies you've seen would qualify for 5-star? And you're like, if you're just picking a number, like what's a 5-star movie? Like, what's the percentage?
This year?
Well, in general, because that was hard. That's hard for me. Like, it's hard for me. The hardest parts for me when I do ratings are the extremes. It's hard for me to knock a movie down to a 1 star,
right.
But I feel like it's also very hard for me to say, oh, that's a 5-star movie.
Right.
That's like my hardest piece. So I'll go first if you're gun shy about it. 5 stars. Of the 150 movies, for me, I rated 3 or 2% 5-star, and I rated 9 1 star or 6%. So
okay.
that's me. It's like it takes a lot to be good, really good in my book, and it takes a lot to be really bad in my book. I don't know how you fall.
Yeah, I think when I look back through the movies that I saw this year, actually none of them are 5-star.
Oh, interesting.
Quality movies, but
I've seen a lot more than you.
You've seen more, and I have a higher bar, I think,
okay.
probably. So, I mean,
and yet you picked me to marry you, so I feel pretty. I guess I feel pretty good about that.
There's always a margin of error.
Okay,
so,
all right. So this is okay. Ouch.
I just joking.
No, so the format of the show. I mean, we've kind of gone off track a little bit, but that's fine. That's kind of what we'll do. We'll meander a bit. The tried and true things that we'll go to with each episode. This is a unique one. This is our first one. We have to start somewhere. And, I can't go through 150 movies that I've seen. But generally what we'll do month to month is each of us go through our top 5 worth mentioning. And then after our top 5 worth mentioning, we'll pick a fun list or something to do. We'll create it, give you a little bit of a heads up of what to expect. And then I think what might end up being the most fun part about it is at the end of the episode, we'll rec each other something. We'll recommend each other a movie that we are required to watch before the next recording. And it doesn't have to be good. It can be a bad movie, and sometimes bad movies can be good. So, do you already have yours picked out?
I do
now, or is it going to be something off the cuff?
It's like the favorite thing that I'm looking forward to.
Okay, I can't tell by your face right now if that's like it's a positive movie that I'm going to enjoy or not. I guess we don't want to spoil that. But for today's episode, what we're hoping to cover is so because it is our first episode, I think the best way to convey who we are, what we like I think a person's top 5 all time that defines who they are in a lot of ways. Like, to me, like, I feel like we did this thing. We were circulating questions on Facebook and social media and just friends and family and asking them what their top 5 movies are. I feel like it's such a personal thing, your top 5 movies, that it really does play a large role into defining who you are. So because it's our first episode, I wanted to kind of level the playing field so that the audience knows who we are, so that they can add a little bit of credibility to our future selections. Now, you just being here, I feel like draws like credibility to an all-time low to begin with. What? You're shocked? I'm just joking. I'm kidding. You have good taste. Because you watch everything I make you watch. So of course you have good taste.
Of the 5 movies I stayed awake in that you've shown me, mine all still top all of those movies. I will say that all of my top movies of all time predate knowing you.
Knowing me.
Right.
Do all of mine predate knowing you? All but one. Yes, all but one predate you. So I don't think that's anything to necessarily differentiate there. So, but yeah, I feel like that's the best way to kind of kick things off, is sharing our top 5 all time. Obviously do our top 5 worth mentioning that we've seen this year up to this point, but we don't want to include movies made in 2015. There's a reason for that. Next month is Oscar month. So we want to make sure that we don't, get too far ahead of ourselves in talking about movies in 2015. Like I said, this is like a catch-up episode. We have to kind of get through the backlog of the year, get to a good point, and then we'll kind of hit our stride. So I guess should we just go into it? So for the listeners, this is airing January 4th, by the way. We're going to try to put out an episode once a month, first Monday of the month at midnight. So you can look for us there at Alternate Ending on iTunes or wherever you find your podcasts. We also have our website, Alternate Ending Podcast, or pod, alternateendingpod.com, where you can find our blog and stuff like that. It'll just be notes from the show and whatnot, and links to the podcast itself. But are you ready to dive in?
Sure.
I'm actually going to switch it up on you.
Okay.
Are you ready for a switcheroo? I'm going to go jump off script already.
I
thought what we could do, instead of going through a top 5 worth mentioning first, which we'll normally do first, I thought let's let the audience get to know us a little bit better with our top 5 all time.
I was already ready.
Oh, you're already ready. Okay. We're both sitting here dorkishly with our laptops in front of us. Like we did put a little bit of thought and effort into this. The top 5 in particular for me.
Because that's tough. That is tough.
Was it hard?
It was hard to go. I feel like there's always the 1, 2, and 3 that pop into your mind, because they're movies that when people ask you what's your favorite movie, you already have your kind of like pre-created answer, so you know what your top couple favorite movies are. But I think once you get into the like 3, 4, 5 or 4, 5, I think that gets where it's like, oh, I have like 5 more movies I really could add to this. So I think to really get to those last ones, that was tough for me.
No, me too. We will get into it. Like 1 and 2 were locks for me, and then 3, 4, 5, I was swapping in and out over, like, since knowing that we were going to be doing a podcast and this would be the topic, I've swapped in and out 5 movies. But yeah, I thought this is the best place to start. So yeah, let's start. Do you think so? You were pretty certain when we started talking about this. You don't think we'll have any overlap?
I doubt it. I'm gonna doubt it. There might be maybe one, but I doubt it.
Should we go worst to first? 5 to 1. Let's go worst. Let's go worst to first. You're up. You can go first. Ladies first.
Well, if I go to my worst, I had like 4. So I had
4
worst, 4 5s, 4 number 5.
Because I have to pick one.
At the last minute, I was hoping it would come to me.
We'll go. You have to narrow. This was the hard part.
I know. Okay. They're staring at me right now.
Yeah, make a call right now.
I'm making it. I'm making the call. Good Will Hunting.
Okay. Well, talk about Good Will Hunting first.
I mean, I think it's on everyone's list of. It may not be in their top 5, but I think it's, especially if Rob didn't mention, we're in the 30s demographic. I think everybody saw that. And I think for me at the time, at the point I was...
You mean everybody who's in love with Matt Damon saw it?
That's the second part.
Now, did you fall in love with Matt Damon with Good Will Hunting? Or did it...
Well, that was his... That was like his breakout. I don't think was he in anything before that?
I gotta say he was in School Ties. Minor role. So you didn't know Matt Damon.
No.
So he was in stuff, I think. this was his breakout role because him and Ben wrote it or whatever, I think.
Right.
But I don't want to
They
steal
did.
your thunder. Go. Keep going.
No, they did. And I just think it was one of those that my girlfriends and I all got together and saw it in the theater. And it was just kind of one of those things where you go and you're like, wow, Matt Damon.
Did you talk with a Boston accent? I can't do Boston accents. Did you talk with a Boston accent? Did you say, what about them apples?
I didn't.
No.
No. I left that for Matt. But but it resonated with me because, you know, that could have happened to me when I was in high school.
You could have been a janitor working at MIT with extreme math knowledge.
I'm Mini Driver.
You're Mini Driver.
I'm Mini Driver.
You're the Mini Driver in this character.
I have a broad jawline.
Broad jawline.
Yeah.
Multiple.
I really felt like I identified with her. Ooh.
I'm
that's a
just calling it like I see it. I
didn't know we were going there.
You're the Mini. I don't think I've heard a girl ever say like identified herself as, you know, I'm Mini Driver. Like, you know, Gwyneth Paltrow and the Brad Pitt relationship. It's totally get it. Like her Jennifer Aniston, I see, but the Mini Driver. Okay. To the Matt Damon.
To the Matt Damon. Right.
Okay.
Where I feel like I could have really transformed him. He was a little bit rough around the edges. You know, didn't see his full potential. That could have been me.
So give me a little more about what's Good Will Hunting for those who maybe aren't in our demographic, who have yet to see it. Or, outside of both sides of our demographic.
I mean, I think you have a really wonderful cast. Obviously, Robin Williams, Matt Damon, Mini Driver. And I think just the overall setting of, I always kind of like those stories of people overcoming and overachieving challenges and struggles, kind of the human struggle for developing potential and kind of realizing yourself. And so I think seeing that movie, I think in high school, I think was identifiable, I think. So
see, and that's, I mean, you're getting to the heart of it. Like, this is why I can't, whatever you say, I mean, I will make fun of you. I will make fun of you for this one. But I don't think, no, I'm just saying that's what I'm trying to get to is like, I don't think the top 5 all time for a person is so personal. It is a very personal experience. You can't knock someone's, and the reason why I struggled, to be perfectly honest, is I was anxious about maybe what other people might think about. Like, we're doing a podcast, like a little bit of credibility, but like I that's why I put so much, I don't know, I was so nervous when I picked my original top 5. I went to AFI and I was like, well, where do they fall in AFI? Like, why should I care? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? At first, but I felt like that would lend it a little bit more credibility if it was in the top things. But I guess that's what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to knock anybody's top 5 list.
Right.
Is it going to be on my top 5? I think Good Will Hunting is a good movie. I think it's worth seeing.
I think so. It's 97. So how old was I?
1997.
So I was 14.
40. Pushing 40.
Let's save the jabs. All right, till I give you the rest of my list. There's just more jabs to give you probably, but so 14, you figure. And I will say that I did notice a trend in going through all of my top 5 in the release dates being all like 12 to the age of 16.
So you were impressionable.
I was impressionable, but I think it was also, you were still at an age where there was something really magical about movies, and that I think you could really get engrossed in a movie. Like when I went to the theater, I was taken there, versus I think now sometimes as an adult, I'm thinking about grocery lists. Like I'm sitting there, I'm watching the movie, but I'm thinking about like the errand that I have to run or things. Like you were fully engrossed, and I feel like everything was new because you were at an age too where you hadn't been able to go out to the theater before. So this is a new thing to be able to go out with your friends to go to the theater. So I feel like there's just something inherently that was magical. And I think I'm curious to see like the genre or the timing around of the releases of your movies as well. To see if my theory holds true about what people find to be their favorite movies. So anyway, Good Will Hunting I'll put as my number 5, kind of closely tied with Field of Dreams and the movie 7.
Why are you throwing them out right now? You're throwing out the honorable mentions.
No, I know.
Now.
I just had to do it because I was on my chest.
What were they? Let's
it was just, I'm not even going to go into them, but Field of Dreams is really up there for me. And 7 also really up there for me.
Ray Liotta, because Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta. Oh, you're right.
Is that the reason?
I mean, I did know he was.
So it's really people. If someone's attractive to you in a movie, because I mean that's the other trend I'm seeing. Field of Dreams. Brad Pitt, 7.
Ray Liotta's not in 7.
No, I'm saying Brad Pitt in 7.
Oh,
Ray Liotta in
right,
Field of Dreams.
right.
I'm saying
right.
like So I think you need
I mean,
an attractive
it's-
leading man, soft on the eyes. Need that. That's maybe part of it. That's another trend.
Right. It's
We'll
something
see.
that I'm not getting out of my life.
If
so
you
I
say
need to-
Elephant
yeah.
Man I'll retract that
The
statement.
Fly,
If
if
you
I
say
say
The
The
Fly,
Fly,
then
okay.
I'll retract.
All right.
But
I'm not gonna say
I'm
The
gonna
Fly.
be looking for that theme in the
Okay.
rest of your list.
Okay. Look for themes.
So for me, number 5. Again, these were tough. These back end ones were tough. I wanted to balance out my list a little bit because I was noticing that I was a little bit one-sided with what things I was picking. So it wasn't a forced placement because I genuinely think this is like a top movie for me all time. Could I swap it out down the road? Maybe. Number 5 for me, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, 2004
so good,
movie.
so good.
No, very good.
I agree.
1 hour 48 minutes, so right under the 2-hour mark. IMDb gives it a 8.4, which gives it 86th on the list of their top 250, which none of my movies are on AFIs. I
Right.
kind of came to terms with that I'm not a film historian. I feel like a lot of that stuff is like historical films. And I think what you said is like, I think you needed to be in the moment. There's something about being like there and like, I don't have that film appreciation that maybe I need to have. Same way I don't probably have art appreciation. Like I could probably see a street artist paint something that would blow my mind, put it up against a Picasso or something, and be like, oh, the street, like I kind of like the street artist
Right.
better. Like I guess I just don't, I'm missing some appeal of that. And that's, I mean, again, that's why we're not professional film critics. I just like what I like. But anyway, so 86th on Rotten Tomatoes, or excuse me, 86th on IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes gets 93%. Written by Charlie Kaufman, who did Being John Malkovich. Have you seen that? Trippy movie.
No.
An adaptation. And then Charlie Kaufman is a writer and director, so he has a movie out, which we'll probably have to see for Oscar season, because I think it's going to get nominated for Best Animated Movie, is Anomalisa? I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the one, I think I might have shown you something like they were doing claymation kind of things. Like,
Oh, okay.
And that's... he's a very surreal writer. He has really interesting, an interesting perspective. He wrote it with Michael Gondry, who also is a very surreal director. So I think that the two of them together really made a really, really great movie. Cast was Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, Tom Wilkinson. First time I really noticed Mark Ruffalo, which I've grown.
Say the name of the movie again.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
yeah.
Mark Ruffalo.
He was in that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, I thought it was Jim Carrey.
No, Jim Carrey's the main actor. Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, Tom Wilkinson, Mark Ruffalo, Kirsten Dunst, and then Elijah Wood.
What does Mark Ruffalo do in that? I forget.
He's kind of like an assistant to the guy, to the Dream Doctor. So plot is, and again, we're not spoilers. I'm going to read the synopsis straight out of IMDb. When the relationship turns sour, a couple undergoes a procedure to have each other erased from their memories. But it is only through the process of loss that they discover what they had to begin with.
So good. Such a good movie. Everyone should see that movie.
You like it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think I had seen it once before when it came out, and then I think we saw it together.
Yeah.
So, good movie?
Good movie, and I guess a reason why it wouldn't be on my top 5 is like there's pieces I don't remember. So like when I think about my top 5, I remember every single piece, every single element of all of these movies, characters, people. And when I think of a movie like that, I remember the themes and I remember what it was about and I remember it, but some of it's lost on me. So I guess that's why
it's
it doesn't
interesting.
hit my top 5.
It won Best Original Screenplay, which I think obviously it deserved. So the writer, I think I remember reading a story about this was the writer got a note from a friend saying, "Hey, what if I just erased you from? What if you got a note from your significant other saying they had just erased you from their memory?" And that's kind of like how he started writing the script, and he wrote it like in a short period of time. I don't know. I feel like that's a really interesting thing. Is like, do you deal with the movie deals with like, is it better to have loved and lost and not never to love at all? I mean,
right.
It's a big cliche,
right?
But it actually does an amazing job encapsulating it into a single film of like, is it better?
Right.
And then you're left to decide, and that's kind of what the movie's about, is deciding what it is. Also, Kate Winslet nominated for best actress, didn't win. Yeah, that's my number 5.
Okay.
Number 4.
All right. Drum roll. Let's see. I will go. I'm not sure that I did these in order, so I'm going to kind of think about it. I know what my number 1 and 2.
You don't even know.
I mean, I do.
I thought there was some thought put into this.
There is thought. So I just feel like you're going to judge me. So
No,
I don't really
there
wanna
is
say-
no judgment watching the
You
woods.
judged me on the first ones that I said. Good Will Hunting.
didn't
You only
judge.
like it because of the men people that are in it.
I don't know what I would like right off the top of my head. I'd at least give it 4 stars.
Which one?
Good Will Hunting.
Oh, okay.
Like it
Yeah.
would. I don't know if it's in my top.
It's definitely 5. But
It's
anyway.
not in my. Okay.
So we will go on from there to. I guess I gotta go Titanic.
Okay. There's no judgment.
You're
Why are you?
smirking.
No,
Your
I'm not.
face.
It's not my top. So I'll be fair. Before you go into what I don't think we can talk about Titanic.
We don't.
about
We're
what
not
it's
going to
about.
talk about it.
But this was. Like,
You're
honestly,
judging me.
No. Me not putting it on my list
Right.
was because I was afraid of being judged by like people
So
who
what you're
know
saying is
film
I'm
and
a
appreciate film.
stronger soul like that.
You're just from your heart.
yeah.
You're just more from your heart. And I have to use my head a little bit and pick
Right.
up on the flaws that it possesses, which are I don't think it overrides. I mean, it made $1 billion.
seeing my
first,
stare,
It
my
made $1 billion.
anchor?
I'm seeing it. It
Yeah.
made $1 billion. Like again, when I did my list,
Did you cry?
yeah, I cried multiple times. I
Yeah.
saw it multiple times in theaters too, and
I
I
only
did
saw-
cry.
you
I
wanna
cry
know an
every.
interesting
I think I
factoid?
cry every time.
I only saw it once.
You only saw it one time.
One time. I couldn't do it to myself again. I mean, I was devastated after I saw the movie. Again, I will go back to release date 97. Same genre of just like that was a very
So 297s.
297s. It was
Same
a
year.
big
97
year.
is a big year
It
for
was
you.
a big year for me.
Okay.
I think no, I wasn't driving. I don't know how I got there.
I thought you were
I
gonna say
walked.
drunk.
I walked. I hope I wasn't. I hope I wasn't. But yeah, it was just, again, it was one of those 5-star, visually amazing. Everyone's seen it, so I don't need to talk about it, but visually amazing. And I think, again, just something where I was just moved by it. And I think I left with a sick feeling. I
My
left
theory still
sobbing.
holds. You realize that, right?
I am not a
Leo?
Leonardo
Oh,
DiCaprio
you're not.
fan.
No.
Maybe Billy Zane.
Billy Zane, bald Billy Zane.
I'm joking. I made that up.
Shaved head. Billy
Is he
Zane.
actually in that movie? I always get him
Oh, that's
confused
nice that
with
you know that.
who's the guy from The Mummy?
Brendan Fraser. You get
No,
it?
no. The bald guy from The Mummy.
I don't know. The Mummy.
Who's the Mummy? That
No
looks
guy.
like Billy Zane.
No guy. No name. I don't know the Mummy from The Mummy. I don't
Never
think he's a big actor.
Well, whatever.
Oh my goodness. Someone who's listening, look this up for us after the fact. I'm not gonna look it up now. I bet you the Mummy guy is the same guy. What was that movie I saw with Josh? What did the devil do on the third day?
No one ever saw that.
No one saw this
No.
movie. Oh. With the white noise part 2.
Part 2.
He is in that. The Mummy. Oh man, we're looking this
Look
up
it
right
up.
now.
Look it up. I will look it up.
You keep talking about Titanic. I'm gonna look this
So
up.
yeah, I don't need to talk about Titanic. It was devastating. I cried. I printed out the lyrics to "My Heart Will Go On" and taped them all over my room and sang it, and did weird things. I was just really saddened by that movie, and I think it was also one of those things that you're at an age where you knew things kind of went on historically, but that was the first thing that I ever seen that had like portrayed a historical moment like that or historical thing that so vividly and so descriptively and so, I don't know, so clearly. It was just awful. I mean, I just was sickened by that movie.
Did you go into it not knowing how it would end? Was that
You
a
know
surprise?
what? I kind of was hoping there was going to be a turn for the better.
Oh, they make it to where were they headed? New York? I don't know where they were. They were headed.
It was. I did. I mean, I even think I was naive. I don't know. I don't want to talk about that because that's just embarrassing. But I think I just was kind of like, I didn't think Leo was gonna.
So his name.
No spoilers.
So the mummy's name is. I am not gonna butcher the pronunciation. Arnold Vosloo. He is not in White Noise Part 2, but I was really excited to think that he was because I wish people would see that terrible movie.
Maybe you should be Googling.
He's been in 69 movies, so I mean, he's been in stuff, just not. Oh, G.I. Zartan from G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra. That's where I saw him. That's what I think I'm confusing him. Anyway, no, Titanic, good movie.
All right, so just let's move on.
I can't fault you.
I still don't like to talk about it.
James Cameron. You want to talk about a little bit James Cameron?
I mean,
$2 billion movies, Avatar and Titanic.
I think everyone just knows that he's obviously known for the,
big
visually,
movies.
Yeah, visually amazing.
All right.
He, I mean, I feel like he can do different things too.
No, he's done. I mean, he's done a variety of genres.
Aliens, didn't he?
Aliens? Did he Terminator?
Did he? He did. I think he did. I think he did do Terminator.
Yeah, or at least Terminator 2. Anyway,
Anyway.
all right, number 4 for me. 7. So you mentioned
Oh, I
Seven,
did. So we have one that
1995, which again,
matches.
there is some overlap. You didn't think.
So
well,
good.
I guess technically there is no overlap since you didn't feel
I
the need
didn't
to
know.
put it in your top
Right.
five, which
But
is where it
we
belongs.
had like a
belongs number 4 on everybody's list.
overlap-ish.
Overlap-ish.
Yeah.
Released in 1995, 2 hours, 7 minutes. IMDb gives it an 8.6. If you're above an 8, you're on the top 250 on IMDb. It is 22nd on IMDb. So I'm doing pretty good there. I feel a very close
So good.
synergy with IMDb users. Like, I averaged for all of my movies 30 on IMDb, which is pretty good. 30th. Rotten Tomatoes gives it an 80%, which is weird to me. Written by Andrew Kevin Walker, who I didn't realize until researching, wrote Brain Scan, 1994. Brain Scan is a trippy movie for me. I was really into video games. If you're into video games, and Edward Furlong, we just said Terminator 2, he's in Brain Scan. Check it out. I mean, it's do I say it's worthwhile? I mean, it's a treat if you're into video games and odd movies. Andrew Kevin Walker, the writer, very odd guy, wrote a lot of dark stuff. He wrote Hideaway, which I only saw because Alicia Silverstone was in it. You mentioned The Fly, Jeff Goldblum is in it. 8 Millimeters. And then he's also been an uncredited writer for Fight Club, Stir of Echoes, Event Horizon, super dark movie,
What was
and
that
The
one
Game.
about? Event Horizon. I feel like I should have seen that, but I
It's
haven't.
a space movie, sci-fi movie,
Would I like
going
it?
through a black hole. It's dark.
It's dark.
Yeah, and sci-fi.
I mean, because they're in a black hole.
No. Good, nice, good joke.
No.
No.
I know.
No, not
No, dark,
no,
like
just
scary?
dark. Yeah, yes, scary, but also dark.
Okay.
Like there's
Like
some
dark.
It's probably
Like Seven.
It's horror,
Like dark, like Seven.
a
Is
little
dark.
darker.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
it's dark.
It's dark. I
Okay.
mean, I like it. Event Horizon.
Okay.
It's still
Just curious.
directed by David Fincher, which really this was. I love David Fincher.
What else has he done?
So he's done his first movie, and I give him a pass. I actually didn't mind it. Alien 3, 1992 was his first movie, and then he, because of how that one was, did not go over well. He needed it a couple years. So this is his fault, really his next movie after that. Then he did The Game. Then he did Fight Club.
I think my sister was.
He
the
did
game
Panic
on-
Room,
Was the,
Zodiac, Curious Case of Benjamin Button,
Oh, I
The Social
liked that.
Network, The Girl with the Dragon
Oh, see,
Tattoo,
so many good
Gone
ones.
Girl, and he's directed House of Cards.
Oh,
So he's my guy.
so it is dark. It's all dark.
He's
though.
all dark.
It's all a little dark.
He's all dark. I mean, he just has a really good tone. I like the
Right.
tone that he sets. I like his stylistic choices. Aliens 3, people ridicule it. I still think it's pretty good. You could see his. I mean, he was very early on in his. He started out as a music video director. You can see his potential in Alien 3. Anyway, starring Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, Kevin Spacey. Synopsis: 2 detectives, a rookie and a veteran, hunt a serial killer who uses the 7 deadly sins as his modus operandi.
It's 5-star. It's a 5-star movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
for you too? Okay, good. Nominated for Best Film Editing. That's all I
Yeah.
got.
What?
That's all I got.
It was ahead of its time.
What I liked about, like, just background too, like,
What's the year on it?
year.
Do you have any idea?
1997.
Again, my year.
Or 95. Sorry,
Oh.
95. Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow and Brad Pitt at their height. I feel like the movie was really big because of the things around it. Gwyneth Paltrow's in it. They were still an item. She plays well. Great acting. Dark, like you said, kept you interested.
Right.
Oh, gosh,
The
so
whole
dark.
time, yeah.
Worth seeing. If you haven't seen 7,
See it, yeah.
if you're a little squeamish, maybe not. I still go see it. Man up. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, yeah, make yourself watch this.
Don't let your kids see it.
Yeah, don't let.
Ever.
I'm gonna wait another year for
Never.
our 4-year-old.
Maybe you'll have to be like 40 and then I'll let her
Okay.
see it.
So what's your number 3?
All right, number 3 might be on yours, I think, ish. The Sixth Sense.
No, not on mine.
No,
Not even on my honorable mentions.
that's
I'm
a
not
fail
saying
on
it's a
your
bad
part. Yeah,
movie.
good movie. I feel like I also, when I was doing this, kind of wanted to think. I didn't want everything to be exactly the same genre too. You know, like every single one. So for me, this one was another one that was so unique, I think, to the time. I mean, it was honestly what I would say is what I recall as being the first twist movie that I remember seeing. I won't do a spoiler, even though everyone's seen it. I won't say, but
So there's a twist in the Sixth
there's
Sense.
a twist. But it was the first twist movie. I remember it was the first movie that I walked out being completely fooled by the writer and director. So I think that was part of it, I think, where...
Who is this writer director we speak of?
I think it's the same person.
Can you say his name?
Because I looked. I researched. I did
You
my
researched
homework.
that it's the same, but you just don't know who it is.
It's M. Night Shyamalan.
Nice job.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You were setting me up there.
Thank you. I know. But yeah, I mean, and I think I've seen a couple other things by him that I liked too. We both saw Unbreakable. Obviously a great movie.
I think about Unbreakable
I know
a lot,
you do.
too.
I know you do. Also, I think he did Signs, which I think I also liked as a good twist movie. But I think this came before Signs.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of like, it's been done. It was a Sixth Sense. I think I just loved being surprised. And it was so good. I mean, I think a lot of people point to The Sixth Sense as one of their favorite, when you say what's your favorite scary movie or thriller or horror, like kind of thriller movie, I think a lot of people would point to The
I don't
Sixth
even know how to
Sense.
classify it. I don't know if
It's
I call
thriller.
it a thriller.
I think it's thriller.
It's not horror.
It's like thriller, scary, dead
it's
people.
thriller?
Thriller, scary, dead people. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think it's thriller.
I think supernatural
Twisty.
is
yeah.
how I would call it.
It's not sci-fi.
Drama,
Yeah,
supernatural. No, it's not sci-fi.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, good movie.
Just so good. Good. Bruce Willis was awesome.
It would either, so I had the scoring mechanisms I have, like it rounds up. It would round up, if it's not a 5-star movie for me, it probably would round up to a 5-star. It just doesn't make my top 5.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a 4.95
Well, no, like I said,
for you.
on my top 5 list or my scoring list. I think
Scoring.
it would either be,
So
be a
good.
4.5 or to 5. But
Okay.
I round up.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So
usually.
yeah, that's my 3.
Very nice. Again, still in my top 3, so I had trouble picking this, but so I needed a Christopher Nolan movie on here because I love Christopher Nolan,
Right.
and everything he does is amazing. I thought I had a big blind spot with Christopher when it comes to Christopher Nolan, because everybody loves Dark Knight, for the Batman trilogy, the most recent Batman series. The Dark Knight, everybody says, is their top movie, maybe even for a lot of people. It even ranks on IMDb as being top 5, or I don't know where it falls. It falls really high on IMDb. So I thought I had a big blind spot because do you want to mention to people? So when we went to go, Carrie and I went to go see. This was very early on in our relationship, so we went, like, one of our early dates was to go see The Dark Knight. And I was a little nervous, first date, so I didn't really pay attention very much.
I have no idea what happened.
You don't in the movie, right?
In the movie.
So we rewatched it.
I knew Heath Ledger was in it for like
Right.
a little blip.
And he was amazing.
He was good.
He was amazing.
But like a blip.
Yeah.
Like one spot.
And the movie was good. I mean, you didn't like it?
No.
Mm.
I mean, it was fine. I think I just expected more. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I like it, but it's not my favorite Christopher Nolan movie,
Mm-hmm.
let alone in my top 5. But I'm glad we went. So what happened is we went and rewatched it. I have the Blu-rays, and we went and rewatched it because before this episode, I wanted to rewatch it to give it the opportunity to make my top 5, because I thought everybody else has it on their top 5. I thought, well, I'm probably going to feel the same way. I did not. So anyway, long segue. I went with Inception, and Inception is probably my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, and I love a lot of his movies.
Right.
It's 2 hours and 28 minutes, so it's a long movie. It ranks 8.8 is the score it gets on IMDb out of 10, so it's 14th. Rotten Tomatoes, again, I feel like low, 86%. Written and directed by Christopher Nolan. Pretty much a spotless record. His first movie, 1998, which is super early on. Like, it was, I think it's almost like a student film. Following. I didn't get it. It's black and white. You've already lost me with black and white in most cases. But then he went on to do Memento, Insomnia, all the Batmans.
Who did the Prestige?
Oh, Interstellar. And he's got a movie
out.
coming out in 2017 called Dunkirk, which I think is like a World War II movie. I love everything Christopher Nolan does. I think he's very smart. I especially like when he writes and directs movies. Like, I feel like I like those.
I think he's twisty too, though.
He's
I
twisty.
think you like twisty.
I do.
I think it's the, look over here, and it's really over here. You should have been looking, kind of thing.
That's what The Prestige is all about.
I mean, yeah.
And he reuses a lot of the same great actors. Inception, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who I love, Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, who I love, Michael Caine, Cillian Murphy, Ken Watanabe. Someone I don't have an affinity for, but I'll just kind of accept her. I'm going to mispronounce her name. Marion Cotillard. I don't know how to pronounce French names. Synopsis: a thief who steals corporate secrets through the use of dream-sharing technology is given the inverse task of planting an idea into the mind of a CEO. It won for Best Cinematography, Best Sound Mixing, Best Visual Effects, Best Sound Editing, nominated for Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, Best Art Direction, and Best Music.
I didn't like that movie.
I know why you didn't like it. It was too twisty, too turny. It required a lot of paying attention to, which you like everything kind of a little bit more spelled out. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me how you're saying that. Yeah.
I'm saying it in a very positive way. You like a very clear cut. Like you don't want to have to think too much in a movie.
Right.
That's my problem with Titanic. Is it's like that's why I can't put Titanic in my top 5. Like I need to be challenged with a movie a little bit, not to the point where I just don't understand it. And we can get to movies like that in the future. I got it all. Like I love philosophical movies. And I love questioning reality.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. It's a heist movie, though. And I love a good heist movie. I love...
Heist movie?
It's a heist movie. It is a heist movie, but it's dreams.
It was too much.
Yeah.
It was too much.
I will say that when it got into the... Now we're in the 3rd level of the dream. It got a little bit much. I like, even watching it, I was like, I wonder if people are going to get this. Like, I kind of was worried for Christopher Nolan. But anyway, that's my number 3.
So Inception. Wait, did it win anything that year, did you say?
It won a ton of stuff.
Oh.
I just went through it all. See, you cannot follow. This is proving my point. It won. Number 1, Best Cinematography, Best Sound Mixing, Best Visual Effects, Best Sound Editing. So it won 4 Academy Awards. I was
thinking you were saying it was up for those things.
No, then it was nominated for Best Picture.
This movie just loses me. It lost me in the movie, and when you said Inception, I lost you because it was weird, and it was just too much, and I think... Sometimes you try to make things so complex that then all of a sudden you lose people, and I think...
So the people who identify with your list so far would be like, so you don't like the movie, or you just...
That one I didn't like. That one I didn't like it,
okay.
No.
So people who identify with
That was the one with, wasn't Michelle Williams in it?
No, there's no Michelle Williams in this movie.
What's the one where, like, the wallpaper starts to get older?
You're thinking Shutter Island. And you love Shutter Island.
I did like Shutter Island. Never mind. This is a confusion.
Oh boy. Oh boy. The wine has been drunk. We're not even halfway through the show.
I know, and you skimped.
I feel like we're 45 minutes in too. Like this is longer than I expected. All right, number 2.
Okay, so for me, number 2, and I'm not going to go into it. All of mine are very like, I think everybody has seen all of these, but they just stood out to me anyway. Is Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Good, just good movie. Everyone's seen it. I love Steven Spielberg, and I know you're going to judge me for that too, but he just does good stuff.
Highbrow people judge. I mean, Saving Private Ryan.
How can you say that you didn't like Schindler's List? Like, how can you say Saving Private Ryan wasn't a good movie? How can you say Jaws wasn't a good movie? He makes movies
with massive
for the masses, yeah.
And that's why is that like I don't understand like. Oh, I can't. I won't say what I was.
Save it for another time. Yeah. But I think he always does stuff that I enjoy. So great movie. Again, I think a lot of it, for me at least, has to do with being unprecedented. I've never seen anything like that as far as how visually amazing that was and how visually believable it was at the time. I mean, 93, that was that was something that hadn't been done, I think, at the time.
What about the music?
I mean, do you want me to sing it?
Sing it right now.
I have my cello across, looking at me.
Give us an in tune hum of the.
I can't promise in tune.
Okay. Come on.
I can't.
So interesting thing. You feel like everybody just turned off their radios and unplugged their headphones at that juncture? If they haven't already.
I was gonna say that happened probably 43 minutes ago, but anyway, that's my number 2.
So
awesome,
interesting thing, John Williams did the score for that. He is the most. I think he has 53 Oscars or 53 nominations.
Didn't you say something about him having the most Oscar nominations?
He either has the most nominations or most wins.
Right.
I think he has the most wins with 53.
Right.
Which is ridiculous.
That's crazy. I mean, and deserved.
Well, because it shows that he's number 1 amazing.
Right.
But to have been amazing for so long.
Do you know what else he's done that I would know?
Yes, I know. He's done everything you've ever loved.
So did he do Titanic?
No, he did. Wait, did he do Titanic?
Did he do?
So he did Star Wars.
Good Will
He
Hunting?
did Superman. Anything with like think about movies like the
Right,
sound,
no,
the sound
big
of
sound,
Jurassic Park with strings, like
Right.
him and Hans Zimmer, very orchestral kind of stringy. I know we're gonna get emails on this. I don't know to what email address, but people like pointing out like flaws in things what we're saying. But no, good Jurassic Park, great movie. Still like
Everyone's
gives me
seen
chills.
it and still gives you chills. It's still something.
Great lines.
And I think again, I go back to like when I look at the whole bevy of the ones that I've pulled together. It's ones. I mean, I can say every line of that movie.
This breaks my whole like good looking guy.
Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, okay. I
Right?
guess I didn't. He
You
had
forgot
a pretty
about
nice
him?
1990. He had a nice 90s. He had
Sam
Independence
Neill.
Day,
Yeah.
and he had Jurassic Park kind of in the 90s. Like,
Yeah.
he has some cred.
Yeah.
All right, my number 2, and again, these were locks for me. They're like I was
I
wavering.
know what it is. Can I guess?
On my number 2, or do you
Your
want to guess on my
two.
number 1?
I don't know. All
I
right,
don't
I'm
want
gonna
you to
guess your number
spoil
2.
anything.
Oh, I guess that's true. Then just say it.
It's The Matrix.
Yuck. That's like.
But is that what you were going to guess? It's yuck.
No,
oh,
it's not.
Wow, interesting.
But when we were
Don't guess.
talking
Yeah,
about
let me
Inception, I was going to say that for me,
So-
the one that was in line with Inception was The Matrix.
So I was talking to my best man, Lo Kung, about this afternoon over text, and in putting together this top 5 list, I found out a little bit about myself. Like, you look at the movies that I'm selecting, even Eternal Sunshine, they all are, again. So to your point too about timing, like 1990, like this was a very 1999
Yep.
big year for me.
saw
Like,
it with Kelly Cookin in theaters.
you saw The Matrix?
Yeah.
Okay. But what I'm saying is like that was my most impressionable. I was just starting to question things like
Right.
philosophically. Like I was a high school senior or junior. I don't remember exactly. The Matrix came at the right time for me. And so it left a really big impact. It's 2 hours, 16 minutes. IMDb gives it an 8.7. So it's ranked 17th. Other people feel the same way. Rotten Tomatoes, 87%. Written and directed. So both Andy and Lana Wachowski. They hadn't done a lot before The Matrix. They had done a movie in 1996 called Bound, which not a lot of people have seen. And let me tell you, the cojones they had. All right, so they go to Warner Brothers, and they're like, "Hey, we have this great script that we wrote, and we'd like to do it. We're gonna need $80 million, Warner Brothers." And all they've done is, have you heard of the movie Bound?
No.
No, you haven't heard of it.
Homeward Bound.
No, not
A story of three dogs?
No, not
Or
Homeward.
was it? Oh, no, 2 dogs and a cat.
No, not Homeward Bound.
Oh.
So Warner Brothers looks at them and says, "We like your script. We'll give you 10 million. We're not going to give you 80 million, you crazy brothers.
Uh-huh.
We'll give you 10 million." They're like, "Okay, we'll take 10 million." What they did is they took that $10 million and made the first 10 minutes of the movie. That's it.
That's kind of amazing.
But that's
That's bold.
it's bold.
Yeah.
So they make the first 10 minutes of the movie for $10 million. They're like, here's 10 minutes. This is what we will deliver to you over the course of 2 hours and 20 minutes, but we need that other $80 million, or we need that other, $70 million. The Warner Bros. Loved it. They went for it. They greenlit the whole thing. Starring Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie Ann Moss, and really my favorite character, Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith. He was like,
I don't know who that is. What else is he in?
He's Lord of the Rings head elf guy.
Oh, the short guy? Oh, no, the head elf. I'm
Head
thinking
elf.
the head.
Again, I'm gonna
short,
get
red-haired
notes on this for
guy.
not knowing. And then he's in V for Vendetta.
Oh, I know who he is. Oh, I know
He's
who he
a
is.
theater actor.
I know his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He talks like this, Mr. Anderson, Agent Smith.
He has the pointy ears, and he's like blonde.
Well, because he's an elf.
Right.
Well, no, he's not blonde in the... Okay, we're getting off topic. It's about a computer hacker learns from mysterious rebels about the true nature of his reality and his role in the war against its controllers. It just blew my mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Best sound effects editing, Oscar. Best film editing, best sound, best visual effects. So 4 Oscars. I think it's impressive. Again, time capsule for me. I think it'll hold up. But this is now where I start understanding why for other people, their top 5s are movies that hit them and they're time capsules for them that don't resonate as well for me. But this movie for me will always have a place because it hit me at the right time. It was so innovative with what it did. Philosophy, questioning, all that. All right, number one, you.
So at this point, do you want me to guess your number one, and I'll guess? No.
When we come to mine. When we come to mine, go to yours.
But do you know what mine is?
Oh gosh, actually, this is a good point. What's your number one movie of all time?
All time.
Karina.
Is that even like? Are you guessing because of Ray Liotta?
Yeah.
And Whoopi Goldberg?
The power couple, power combo of Ray Liotta and Whoopi Goldberg. I feel would transcend.
I feel like
movies.
I'm packing my bags. Like I'm leaving tonight. That you would guess that Karina was.
No, I actually have no. I didn't put any thought into this.
No.
You're putting me on the spot. I have really no idea what your number one is.
This is appalling.
Do you know? Okay, we'll see in the reverse situation if you get mine.
Okay, we will.
I know you'll get mine.
I know.
I talk about it. I'm communicative.
I'm pretty communicative too.
About this movie?
About this movie.
Got it. Just came to me. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. Took me a second.
Karina.
I was just messing. You've mentioned that movie just as much. Wait a second. Is that my rack?
Is that you'll find out. So yeah, Indiana Jones, and very specifically the Last Crusade, because neither that came before it compare. So
I think you'll find a lot of
people will do.
Who
just
argue.
Earlier my uncle was like, yeah, definitely Raiders of the Lost Ark is the best one, and I was like, what?
Time capsule.
It's appalling to me when people think that, but so it was the best for many reasons, and it's my number one of all time, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And another Steven Spielberg movie.
Oh, wait. He directed?
Yeah.
Okay. Who wrote that one?
I think it was George Lucas.
Okay. Lucas. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Obviously big. He's done things
He's
recently.
done a couple things.
He's done a few things.
A couple things?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't write this Star Wars that's blowing
did
up
it?
all over it. No, not
Who
this.
wrote that?
Not this one. Lawrence Kasdan, and then I think J.J. Abrams wrote the script for the Force Awakens. Go see it.
All
if
of
you
these are
haven't. It's worth
5.
it.
Yeah. So you're number one.
My number one. Hit me.
What do I get if I am right?
The same thing I got, which was nothing.
I will go with your cop-out answer of Fight Club.
It is indeed Fight Club.
I thought
the best
so.
movie.
It's not
of all
the best.
time.
I mean, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
So,
but...
compared to The Matrix, did you get this one more?
Yeah, I got it.
It has everything you want. A twist. It has Brad Pitt.
It's good. I just mean, I feel like every guy that's between the ages of like 27 and 35 will say Fight Club.
I don't think so. So I know.
I'm polling.
Well,
I did a poll.
You did a poll.
Yeah.
So Fight Club, 1999, 2 hours, 19 minutes longer movie. IMDb 8.9, so 10th all time. Rotten Tomatoes 79%. Chuck Palahniuk, the writer, director David Fincher, mentioned his name before.
Right.
Again, I'm a David Fincher fan. The writer, and this is very rare, was a big part of the movie. He admits that the movie is better than his book, and his book is pretty good.
Did you read it?
No, I haven't. I bought it and then I just let it sit there.
Rob hasn't actually read a book since
Beloved.
Since the book that he lied to my sister about reading.
Since that book, yes.
Since that book. So that puts you at like 92 was your last book. I think you read Lord of the Flies, maybe.
Yeah. I didn't even read that book to impress you. The Strength Finder book, which I think our relationship was teetering on, like whether or not it was a go or no go.
You read the book I bought you, and you didn't read it.
I didn't read that
so
book.
Here we are.
So
anyway.
So you settle. That's good. Starring Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, Helena Bonham Carter, Jared Leto, Meatloaf.
Jared Leto was in it? Was he a transvestite?
No, there's no transvestite in the movie that I recall.
Oh.
Unless you're referring to Helena Bonham Carter, which I hope she's not listening. The movie's about an insomniac office worker looking for a way to change his life, crosses paths with a devil-may-care soap maker, forming an underground fight club that evolves into something much, much more. Nominated for one thing. Didn't win anything. Best sound effects editing. So the writer, Chuck Palahniuk, I'm mispronouncing the name, he actually came up with the idea to write the book after being beaten up on a camping trip when he complained to some nearby campers about the noise of their radio. When he returned to work, He was fascinated to find that nobody would mention or acknowledge his injuries, instead saying such commonplace things as, "Hey, how was your weekend?" So he concluded that the reason people reacted this way was because if they asked him what had happened, a degree of personal interaction would be necessary, and his workmates simply didn't care enough about him to connect on that personal of a level. So it was his fascination with that aspect, which I think is still very existent today. Is like, again, it hit me at the right time. It still resonates with me today in corporate America. It deals with a lot of corporate America kind of themes, and it is a very macho guy type movie, but I don't know. I feel like the other sex can identify, like you can get something from it as well too.
Not really. No.
It came out at a really bad time of year. So I think Columbine happened the same year. It tanked. It did not do well at the box office.
Interesting.
It did very poorly.
What year? Say the year again?
1999.
Okay.
So yeah, it didn't do well in theaters. I read some things about the studio having big problems with the tone of the movie even before, like things that the director wanted to do.
It's a dark movie.
It's dark, and it goes some dark places. I thought you'd find this interesting. Brad Pitt visited a dentist before the movie to have his front tooth chipped. That's his level of commitment to the movie, because in the scene he has his tooth.
Why would you do that?
I have no idea why you would do it, but to add a degree of like.
Seriously, man.
Yeah.
Like,
he got in shape for that movie. They both did. That was the other. Why wouldn't
you just get like a little like CGI on the tooth or whatever you do?
CGI was still kind of like
it's like a little paint.
Yeah,
that's forever.
Best. Everybody needs to go see it. You'll find it has a lot of nice Easter eggs in it. You'll love it.
So you're saying his current tooth isn't real?
I don't know what the situation is with his tooth. I haven't been following up on his tooth. I just picked that up on something I read. You had done honorable mentions. I'll go through mine. Back to the Future is on my list. Good, yeah. It's all time. Whiplash, movie we just saw.
That's in your top.
I have to mention it.
It's really good.
The problem I have with it is I'm a big prisoner of the moment. Like, if I see something that's really good right now, like, I have a problem with not being able to let it marinate long enough. I've let this one marinate. It was so good. If you haven't seen Whiplash, please go see it. The Prestige, we talked about Christopher Nolan. The Usual Suspects. Jurassic Park. So I actually did have that. High five.
High five. Yeah.
Up. That's a special one.
I forgot about
me.
Up.
Yeah,
though.
Up.
Oh.
So another high five. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade makes my honorable mention.
I feel like you put that there though.
I did not. Hands have not been typing. Rushmore. I know you don't like Rushmore for some reason. That I don't know. It's special to me for some reason. And Donnie Darko, philosophical movie, caught me at the right time. Indie movie. I want to go through our listeners before we take our first break. So Josh Elder, former roommate, also probably will be a co-host at some point down the road. Top 5 movies: Wizard of Oz, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Naked Gun, and Fight Club. So I guess there's
I don't actually. Josh's opinion. Let's move on.
Okay, moving on. Does have Fight Club on there?
I know,
and
that's
Wizard
why.
of Oz. Tim Barnes, he put 10 for his top 5. Former neighbor, husband of your close classmate from high school. He put Saving Private Ryan. Spielberg. Good Will Hunting, he had.
See?
Ronin, which we'll have to talk about, Tim. The Dark Knight, like I said, people have Dark Knight really high on their list. Office Space, Shawshank Redemption, which IMDb rates number 1 all-time movie. The Departed, people love that movie. I probably need to rewatch it. American Beauty, The Sting, and The Godfather. Godfather ranks, I think, number 1 on AFI's list. Or no, it does not. Citizen Kane, I think, maybe there. Kelly Barnes, wife of aforementioned Tim Barnes. Wizard of Oz. So a lot of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Not for you, right?
No.
Yeah, maybe we need to rewatch that.
Monkeys were weird.
Breakfast at Tiffany's. So she's a historical enthusiast. Like,
I know.
That's interesting. I did not know that about her.
Yeah.
Bridesmaids. Hilarious. Gone with the Wind. See? Another historical movie for her. Titanic. So you get a little love there.
We probably saw it together. I'll have to check in with her. I'm trying to remember. It's all a blur of tears from that night. But
just a lot of tears and runny mascara. Poorly drawn on.
Probably.
Yeah. Mike Garrigan, who's I used to dabble in music. He's a producer, my producer for my albums. Also a friend. Has a podcast of his own. I recommend checking it out. And actually, he helped. I look at the studio that we're in, which is my basement room. All the equipment in it was recommended by him, so he kind of helped put this all together. He has The Wizard of Oz out there as well, which is interesting. Singing in the Rain, Back to the Future, Star Wars here again, and Empire Strikes Back. My Former Boss and Friend, Maggie Hogan, has Princess Bride. Great movie.
I think a lot of people have that on theirs. Like,
Really?
even if it's not in your top 5, or people that...
I can't knock it.
I feel like people don't
Classic.
admit it. Like, guys don't admit it as much. Guys say it. Every time you talk to people about it, they say Princess Bride.
Star Wars. So she's a Star Wars and Star Trek lover. She doesn't discriminate. For Star Trek, for her, it's Wrath of Khan, which Star Trek lovers will say that the even-numbered movies are better. Sound of Music, another classic. Mary Poppins. Kellen Rogenbuck. Life as a House on his top 5.
It's a good one.
I made you see that. Good movie. It's an odd one. Like, that one stands out. When I read that on the list, it stood out to me because I don't think a lot of people have seen it. So it's like a peculiar one to find on a top 5 list.
Right.
I like it too, but
He's
I don't.
dying, right?
Yeah. What's that?
Is he dying?
All right, spoiler. No,
No.
I'm not saying anything. Great
I can't
spoil.
remember.
He has Fight Club. Kellen has Fight Club. Dead Poet Society. Kellen's like
That's
like
across
a
the
teacher,
board. Yeah.
kind of
Mentor.
mentor
I would
role.
say he's a mentor.
So I could see why that movie would resonate. Another Shawshank, so IMDb doesn't lie. And American History X, which is a great movie.
Tough.
Tough movie to watch. Your sister, Becky, has Dead Poet Society. American President. Where was that? I didn't hear any honorable mentions to that. You'd mentioned it to me before.
I mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's just not in my top, like,
Not top 5.
12.
Not top 12.
no.
When
Maybe
Harry
13.
Met Sally, Pretty Woman, The Game, Right On, The Game, another David Fincher movie. And then your
Becky.
uncle, I wanted Larry Rudkin just mentioned.
He said The Godfather.
He's a classic.
What was the first one he
He
said?
has Doctor Strangelove.
Oh, Doctor Strangelove.
Which I'm not giving the full title because it's too long. The Godfather, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Sting, and The Shawshank Redemption. He has good taste. I mean,
wouldn't disagree.
when you line it up against like AFI and IMDb, he's right in.
So does
there.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, I should know this, get higher? I'm sure it gets
Yes.
higher. Yeah.
Yes.
They know nothing.
And I'll be honest, like, because of when I saw Temple of Doom, like I struggled.
All of them are good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
I'll be
all
honest,
of them aren't good.
Raiders
I'm just saying for me,
lowest
close,
on my list. And then let's just forget about number 4. I mean, we're not even talking about
that's not actually a movie.
Crystal Skull.
That was
That
what
one
movie are you
what
talking
movie,
about?
right? Yeah. I
Okay.
thought, I'm looking to my right. I'm seeing my wine glass is low. Let's take a break here. We'll go refill our wine and continue the segment back with our top 5 worth mentioning. All right, and we're back to alternate ending. My glass of wine is refilled. How's yours? Did I do a good job there? Is that full enough, or were you expecting a little more? I actually want to make it through the episode.
Right. You don't want me
And
to
not
start
pass
like
out.
trailing off.
Right.
Slurring. Right. Then in that case, it's a good pour. Good pour.
Did you check on the kids?
I didn't.
Oh, I thought you were checking on the
Did
kids.
you?
No. I'm sure they're fine.
Did you hear any crying?
Nah, I wasn't listening for crying.
Okay.
Well, anyway, we're back. Covered our top 5 all time. Now on to top 5 worth mentioning. So for this one, it's top 5 movies we saw this year in 2015. By the way, Happy New Year. So top 5 movies we saw this year, but not made in 2015. We're saving that for next month's segment when we start talking Oscars. We don't want to spoil that. So
Wait, so these were these 2014 we had to choose?
no, it could be any movie you saw this year, not made
Right.
in 2015.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That's what I did.
Yep. Okay, good. Any overlap here, you think?
Probably.
So I made you watch a lot.
I watched a lot of crap.
You made fun of me
So
earlier.
much crap this year.
I almost want to rewind the tape. You said that things I show you do not make it into your top movie selections typically. But I showed you all. Like, I feel like, all right,
What
so it'll
mo-
be interesting.
I don't think I saw any. My top 5, none of them were ones I saw with you.
That's true. Well, I mean, just because.
So it's factual what I
you
said.
At birth, yes. So, well, I guess it
Anyway,
is factual.
I would say most of what you showed me this year was crap, but there were a couple worth mentioning.
Can I make a general statement about these top 5 worth mentionings? It's
Yeah.
incredible to me. All of them have higher Rotten Tomato scores than my top 5 all time. I feel like that's interesting.
Wait, say that again?
All of these top 5 worth mentionings have higher Rotten Tomato scores than my top 5 all time. It's weird.
How do you no?
It's weird.
'Cause, like,
I'll tell you about them.
Okay.
We'll talk about them.
Okay.
Not
Doesn't
IMDb
make
scores, but
sense.
Rotten Tomatoes. Critics
Okay.
found the movies that I liked that I saw this year, not in 2015, not made in 2015. They like these better than my top 5 all time.
So I'm just gonna. How about you?
Jump in.
You jump in and you tell me yours, and I'll say if it was on mine.
Okay. Number 5 on my list is The Babadook.
No, that is not on
That's
my
not
list.
on your list?
No.
I think it's worth mentioning.
I know you do.
You don't think it's worth mentioning?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's worth mentioning.
Oh my gosh.
So, Babadook, 2014, a movie, 1 hour, 33 minutes, 6.9 on IMDb.
The Babadook.
98% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Does that mean 98% rotten?
No, that's not what that means. That figure means at all. Written and directed by Jennifer Kent. Small acting credits. She's the first directorial debut, really. Starring no-name actors. I think it was all shot in like Australia or New Zealand. Starring Essie Davis, who hasn't done much. Noah Wiseman is the boy. Synopsis. All right. Single mother, plagued by the violent death of her husband, battles with her son's fears of a monster lurking in the house, but soon discovers a sinister presence all around her. It's a horror movie. Straight up.
No, it's a horror movie.
But it's more than that. I'm not going to talk about it. It's more than that. You don't think it's worth seeing?
It's worth seeing because it's free. It's on Netflix, right?
It was when we saw it.
It still?
It might be check Amazon, check Netflix. It's worth seeking
it's
out
worth
as
seeing.
if you're a fan of the horror genre, even if you're not squeamish.
It was freaky. It was freaky.
It is, but I feel like it's deeper than a general horror movie. The little thing I want to mention here too is William Friedkin. Does that name mean anything to you? He wrote and directed The Exorcist. He said, I've never seen a more terrifying film than The Babadook. For a while, it was kickstarted, so part of the film's financing was kickstarted.
Uh-huh.
In order to raise money, they needed, general Kickstarter. We did a Kickstarter. General Kickstarter, and you had to offer products. They were offering that book, the Babadook book. I was thinking for Christmas, when you asked me like, what do I want for Christmas? One of the things I wanted the Babadook book. I wanted that little pop-up book. Like,
no, you don't.
I like
Why
that movie so much.
Want that?
Do I want this evil book? Like, I kind of want it.
So is this the point that you want to disclose the fact that you turn the lights off in the basement and then
I like
you think
to get
about
scared.
the Babadook?
Yes,
and
I
then
run up.
I hear like rapid
Actually,
beats
do you know
of
who I
running
think?
Up the
You know
stairs?
what the movie is? I think about when I run up the stairs. It's Sinister.
Oh yeah,
it's
with
no, Insidious. No,
Insidious.
Insidious.
With
it's
the guy from Watchmen.
Patrick Wilson from
Patrick
Watchmen.
Wilson, yeah.
It's the lady. Like I just picture the lady grabbing my leg and pulling me down.
She's there. She's
awesome. That's where we are. We are located
We're
in the basement. Anyway, number 5 for me. On to you.
Worth mentioning. I would say Inside Out.
It's not
on your list.
It's not on my list of worth mentioning because so a little bit of criteria for me for worth mentioning before you go into Inside Out, which probably everybody's seen. I don't want to put stuff on here that everybody has seen.
I don't think everybody saw that.
I think the majority of people have seen it.
No.
The purpose for me of this show is to draw out like gems, like little nuggets of things people may have passed over, not in the mainstream.
I don't think
Inside
everyone
Out
saw
is
that.
everywhere.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I know like 12 people, and of those people, only 2 saw it.
I have it as watch on my list of things to watch. I think it's a watch.
It's worth mentioning. It's good. It's is it Pixar?
If you haven't seen, you go watch it.
You go watch it.
But I'm saying that it's not on my top 5.
I saw it on a date night with Abby. It's worth mentioning.
I think that's my
good
problem
movie.
too. Is I haven't seen it in isolation. I saw it with
a
group, and we were all like, it was for managing kids while watching.
Right.
We actually saw it with Leaf, my next door neighbor, him and his family. You got 4 kids.
It's good. Worth watching. Go see it. What's your next?
All right, number 4 for me. Are we on number 4? 4. Are you worried that we're not going to have crossover?
This one will be the same.
You think Being Flynn?
That's on my list.
Is it? What number is it on your list?
What do you mean? Mine are all lumped together.
Oh, you don't have a top
not
5?
Really. No.
You didn't take the time?
I mean, no, I didn't.
Oh my god.
I didn't take the time. So it's on my list. So I ranked it.
Where would you put it right now? Make a
star
judgment
rating?
Call. No. 5 to 1. Where would you rate it right now?
1, 2.
What movie did you
3.
like better?
I liked other movies better that I haven't gotten to yet.
Okay. Or not what you like better. What's more worth mentioning?
Let's just talk about Being Flynn.
All right, Being Flynn. Yeah, sorry. 2012 movie, hour 42 minutes, IMDb 6.4, Rotten Tomatoes 51%.
Wow.
People don't like this movie.
That's because people
Critics
are
don't
terrible.
like this movie. Written by Paul Weitz and Nick Flynn, directed by Paul Weitz, whose credits are American Pie, About a Boy.
He did American Pie.
Yeah, About a Boy, too. Which have you seen About a Boy?
No, I haven't.
It's a good movie. He
Is
does
it about
good
a boy?
movies. What's that? Yes,
Is
it
it
is about a boy. And he's got a movie called Grandma that just came out.
Oh, I saw that. Oh, no, I didn't.
No, I didn't see Grandma.
No, I didn't.
It stars Paul Dano, who, like, I'm beginning to buy into Paul Dano. He is a great actor, and I've seen him be great. He's the main character in the movie that you just said is your top 5 worth mentioning.
That guy, yeah.
He's more recently in Love and Mercy, which I need to see. He was in...
He's not the little boy from...
Steve Carell with the van riding around with the girl. I'm blanking on the name right now because we've had too much wine. Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh.
He's in that. Robert De Niro.
Oh, Paul Dano. Yeah.
No, you don't know who he is. Don't pretend you know. No. Oh yeah, Paul Dano, of course. Look while I'm talking.
I am.
Look him up on the phone.
Yeah, I am.
So Paul Dano, Robert De Niro. The movie's about working in a Boston homeless shelter. Nick Flynn re-encounters his father, a con man and self-proclaimed poet. Sensing trouble in his own life, Nick wrestles with the notion of reaching out yet again to his dad. You picked this movie, so
did.
all props
Netflix,
to you.
Right?
I was like, honey, I'm tired of picking movies. You pick something. And it's funny, like, I do that to you, and then, like, I judge you for every movie you... Like, I'm like, you're not...
Looper. He was in Looper.
Oh, yeah, he was in Looper. Oh, yeah, he was great in Looper. He's quickly becoming
He's
really
good.
high on my list of actors.
Excellent movie, unknown, free. I always go back to free. Like, I like when things are on Netflix because there should be gems that are out there that you can just enjoy.
It blew me away.
For
like,
your $9
the writing, the acting. I think this is Robert De Niro, one of his finest acting roles since I don't even know when. Since he became kind of like...
Meet the Parents? No.
I don't feel like he acted great in that. I thought it was funny. No, he gives himself into this role, and he's hilarious. And Julianne Moore is in this. So the fact that she's in this and I'm rating this high as a worth mentioning means something. Because I have like this weird thing with Julianne Moore. I won't get into it. But I don't know. There's something about Julianne Moore where, it's hard for me to watch Julianne Moore. But anyway, she's in this and I've rated it high. That should be enough for you to go with it. All right, next up.
All right, I have on mine The Martian.
So The Martian was made in 2015.
It was?
Yeah. We saw it this year in theaters. Quick, go to your backup.
Quick! Okay, I have Meet Earl and the Dying Girl.
Also made in 2015.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
This is...
Clear criteria.
So when you're talking, I only listen about 50% of the time, and I must have listened to 50% of the rules. So I also went with Aloha. Please tell me it wasn't 2015.
I can't tell you anything about it, but I'm curious why you want to say that was worth mentioning. Let's see if we can talk about it. No, it was made in 2015.
So here's what I did.
All right, so we're moving on.
Let's go on to yours.
We're going on to mine.
So here's the thing. You sent me my list of the movies that I had seen.
Right. So you haven't seen enough, not in 2015.
Right.
That's the problem.
I
feel like you've seen plenty. I feel like I could pull up the list right now.
Okay, so let's go through a couple more of yours.
I have a flag. I have a Carrie
flag.
I
have one last one that I want to talk about.
Okay.
And it's not on your list.
You've seen a lot with me.
I know. I also put Perfect Sense on there. And I realized... So here's the thing. I want to caveat that I put it as a 3.5 star rating. So it's not particularly high. But I think it's worth mentioning. And I think it's worth watching. Because it was on Netflix. And it was one of those... I fall asleep, like I mentioned earlier, in like 50 to 75% of movies. This was one movie where Rob actually fell asleep, and I stayed awake through the entire movie the first time, and I was just sobbing by the end of it.
Can I mention a pet peeve right now about me falling asleep? It happens less frequently than you do, but I'll tell you something that I do not do that you do when the other person falls asleep is you'll go like this. Oh my God! Oh my God!
I don't think I said oh my God. I probably said oh my gosh.
You do it. Oh yeah, you say oh my gosh. You said no. I think you say oh my God.
I don't think so.
I think you do.
I don't think so.
I'm half asleep, or I'm sleeping, and you say that. Oh my God, Rob, did you just see that? Oh my gosh, Rob, did you just see that? And no, I haven't seen it because I am sleeping. I am in slumber, and you awake me from the slumber to see something. So Perfect Sense.
I made you watch it again. So I made Rob watch it again, and he wasn't happy about watching it again. So it's basically the story of a So I think it's Ewan McGregor plays a chef, and he falls in love with this scientist gal, who I think is played by somebody else, who's a girl. Do you know who plays the girl?
Yes, I know.
Who is it?
I'm blanking on her names. Eva Green?
Yes, we'll go with that. So basically, this epidemic starts breaking out where people are losing one sense at a time. It sounds ridiculous when I'm saying it out loud. So like the sense of smell, and so people lose the sense of smell. And then it's how does society react to losing something like that, and how do people adapt? And so it's like a kind of a study on like humankind and human nature and human behavior and how do they react. And so one by one, as people are trying to adapt to this situation, how do people act and behave, and through kind of like following this couple. And it was just worth mentioning because it was just a really interesting commentary on human behavior.
I gave it one. So remember when I said my stars, like the extremes? I gave it 1 star.
You did not.
I did. I gave it 1.
You're doing that to spite me.
I think it was partially spite. I think the most I could give it, though, was 2. It was really bad. If you want to see a good movie around the same premise, go see Blindness, starring Julianne Moore. Again, I have a thing against, like, it's no personal vendetta against Julianne Moore. But for Carrie's displaying it. We'll get to it some other time. Reach out to me personally for reasons why. But yeah, Blindness. Go see, if you want a good version of the movie Perfect Sense, go see Blindness.
Who is in that one?
Julianne Moore.
No, I mean like is the
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Oh, I do like Mark Ruffalo.
So Mark Ruffalo, Julianne Moore. You kind of want to see it now, and it's dark. It kind of fits more of my.
Right.
You saw my top 5 all time. You know what I'm about. Blindness is gets a little. It's even a little bit too much for me at points. It's a little Walking Dead-ish.
I do like The Walking Dead.
To that level of like
more than you.
Morbid.
I do like apocalyptic world ending.
That is what it is. More so, like the perfect. Like,
is it like The Road?
Yes.
Okay.
No. It's nothing like. It's not The Road. It's apocalyptic. It's like, what would you do? The Perfect Sense is it focuses on 2 people and their love during this situation.
Chaos, right?
Chaos. And Blindness focuses on the individual characters, but it focuses more on like society's breakdown, like Walking Dead focuses on like, man, society has really turned to the worst, like been reduced to the least common denominator because of this situation that has occurred. Yeah, so other movies that you saw, and you could have said that we saw together. Gone Girl.
That wasn't really.
That's not worth mentioning.
It was worth mentioning, but yeah.
Whiplash, we saw together.
That's definitely worth mentioning. Everyone should see that.
So anyway, moving on. My number 3, and we'll just go with me now. I'm sorry.
Go.
Blue Ruin, 2013, 1 hour, 30 minutes. IMDb 7.1, Rotten Tomatoes 96%. Critics love this movie. Written and directed. That's the other thing I'm noticing is when a writer and director, when they own their own material, I feel like when they release something that's amazing, like or really kind of are firing on all cylinders, like that's the kind of movie that I love. Is you need to be the writer and the director. Like you need your vision realized, and you need to be the one to realize it. Like I find myself drawn to those types of movies. This is written and directed by Jeremy Saulnier. Hasn't done much. Did a movie called Murder Party in 2008, and that's it. Has a new movie coming out in 2015 called Green Room. Stars his college or high school best friend, Macon Blair, Devin Ratray, who's Spike from Home Alone, the mean brother with the spider. Wasn't his name Spike?
No.
What was his name?
Butch. Or no.
It was Butch?
No, it wasn't Butch.
All right, look that up.
Wait.
Look that up.
You mean the guy that said Fuller, or the big guy?
The big guy.
Yeah. No, his name was not
Spike.
No, it was
okay. Yeah, it's
you
Spike.
move along.
All right, you move along,
yeah.
and then you confirm that I'm right. And Amy Hargreaves.
Not Spike.
The synopsis: a mysterious outsider's quiet life is turned upside down when he returns to childhood home to carry out an act of vengeance, proving himself. Actually, that's all I'm going to say. It's on Netflix, I believe, still right now. Go see Blue Ruin. It's slower. It's methodical. It's really good. It'll captivate you. He raised money on Kickstarter to fund it. Great up-and-coming director. Need to go see it. The other movie Carrie hasn't seen, released in 2014, it's number 2 on my top 5 worth mentioning. A Most Violent Year.
I'll never see that, though.
Why?
I thought you said it was really tragic.
No. I think you're thinking of something else.
What's the one about the kids?
I don't know.
And the guns?
No, not this. Kids and the Guns?
The kids and the guns. The kids that had guns really young, and you were like...
That's Beasts of No Nation.
Oh, yeah.
Released in 2015. So if I was going to talk about it, I wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah, but...
I will not be talking about that. No, this is a most violent year. 2 hours, 5 minutes. IMDb 7.0. Rotten Tomatoes 89%. Written and directed. Again, the combo there. J.C. Chandor. Hasn't done much. Did Margin Call, which if you liked The Big Short in 2015, Margin Call is worth seeing. Oh, you have some news for me? What is the gentleman's name?
Buzz.
Oh, Buzz. Buzz.
Who has not aged well.
Yeah, he's in the movie. If you want to see how he's aged, go see Blue Ruin.
I will.
So, most violent year, J.C. Chandor, Margin Call, All Is Lost with Robert Redford, and he's got a new movie about the Deepwater Horizon oil spill coming out in 2016. Stars probably one of my favorite actors right now, Oscar Isaac, Jessica Chastain, and David Oyelowo. So in 1981, the reason why the title is called The Most Violent Year, in 1981 was the most violent year in New York. It had the highest number of murders ever recorded in the history of New York City. So it's kind of set against that backdrop, but it's about this immigrant kind of ambitious guy who has a company. He's trying to make something out of it, despite all of this kind of seedy stuff happening all around him. And it's just really good. I said Jessica Chastain is in it. Javier Bardem was originally set to star in it. When he dropped out, Jessica Chastain, who was already attached, said, "Hey, J.C. Chandor, director, writer, Oscar Isaac's your guy." And they went to Juilliard together, so that Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaac kind of have a little bit of history together. So yeah, that's my number 2. Go see it, or most worth mentioning that I saw in the movies that I saw, not in 2015. This past year. My number 1, you said it was high on your list too, and I already kind of said it's probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. Whiplash.
Good movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Still sticks with you?
It does.
Yeah? Scenes from it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whiplash, 2014, hour 47 minutes. IMDb 8.5. So even though it's just released, it already ranks 43rd all time on IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes, 94%. Critics loved it. Written, directed, again, combo. Damien Chazelle hasn't done, that was his first movie. First movie. Knocked it out of the park. He's got another movie called La La Land coming out in 2016. I'm a little worried that, because reading the premise for La La Land, it's about a jazz musician, which kind of like,
it's like, gonna try and ride on the coattails.
Is he just gonna keep doing?
Yeah.
Like I'm a little worried that, all right, I'm kind of want to see something different, but I mean, if it's working, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Who's that main guy in Whiplash? The
Miles Teller?
No.
J.K. Simmons?
Is that the director, the music director?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
Yes, he was. People probably know J.K. more from American Family Insurance, or what insurance commercial is that? No, not American Family. No, maybe it is. I don't know, some insurance commercial, maybe from Juno. He's been a character actor for a lot of movies. You look him up. He's been in a ton of stuff. Melissa Benoist plays a love interest. She's the new Supergirl on the CW. So it's about a promising young drummer. He enrolls in a cutthroat music conservatory where his dreams of greatness are mentored by an instructor who will stop at nothing to realize a student's potential. It won Best Supporting Actor, J.K. Simmons. Best Editing, which the editing was amazing. Like, I even noticed the editing, and I try not to notice things when watching a movie, other than the movie. Best Sound Mixing. So it won 3 Oscars. It was also nominated for Best Picture and Best Adapted Screenplay. Miles Teller, he was actually drumming since he was 15 years old, but he had to take an additional 4 hours a day of lessons for 3 days a week to prepare for the movie. So great. That's my number 1 worth mentioning. Find it wherever you can. Go see it. I also recommend these movies to go watch. These are on my watch list. Again, we won't do this normally, but because I have a huge backlog, I want to just go through these. Go watch Creep. Watch Desert Runners documentary, Spinning Plates documentary, Honest Liar documentary, Somme, if you're into wine, documentary, Generation Iron documentary, The One I Love, interesting movie, Kingsman: The Secret Service. I thought it would be like silly. It was really good. Unbroken, Big Hero 6, Gone Girl, Nightcrawler, John Wick, Fury, The Equalizer, Predestination, trippy, The Signal, and Birdman, which actually beat Whiplash for best movie of the year, which I disagree with after seeing both. Skip movies to skip. Don't watch time lapse. Avoid it. Carrie fell asleep during that one, so that's all I need to say about that. The Philly Kid, Perfect Sense. I have a skip, but now I kind of feel bad because Carrie liked it so much. I should. It's up to you. Why don't you go see it? Tell us what you think about Perfect Sense.
Love to hear feedback.
Yeah.
On it.
Don't go see Not Cool. Don't see Barefoot, which was the Carrie selection. She fell asleep to the night. Yeah, you don't know about it because you fell asleep and I had to sit through it. In Your Eyes, Air Bud 3, which was a mistake. Someone Marry Barry, and The Loft, which we just saw. I have that as a skip. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Which one?
The Loft.
I don't think I saw that.
You saw it. The guys get a loft together to have affairs.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Should we just push through? Take another break? What do you want to do? Push through for the Rex?
We should just push through for the Rex.
All right, Wreck Me. So this segment, again, just to remind people, we each pick a movie that we haven't seen, I'm assuming, right? Is that the goal? Haven't seen? We make the other person watch. It can.
You haven't seen this.
Okay, but that's the goal is to.
Yeah.
Right? If I've seen it, then it disqualifies it?
Right.
Okay. So that's the goal. It's meant to be either a punishment or a reward or neutral. Like, I'm curious to see. Why don't you go first and then tell me what you're wrecking me for next episode?
Okay. So I'm going to wreck you an amazing movie. I'm going to be kind to you.
Appreciate that.
And wreck you a movie called Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken.
Sounds awesome.
It is awesome. And I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's one of the best movies you'll ever see. It just didn't quite make it into my top 5 of all time, but it's a story of Sonora Webster, a teenage runaway during the Depression.
I feel like I'll do this for people next when I watch this. I'll
Runaway.
do this. I'll mention. You're gonna keep going.
Her life's ambition is to travel to Atlantic City, where all your dreams can come true.
What year is this movie? Is this like a 1997 movie, like all your other loves?
91. It's earlier.
So
I saw it in third grade.
More Karina year.
Then I bought it and watched it over and over and over again, and you'll like it.
Do I find out that Wild Hearts can be broken? That's
TBD. But I guarantee in all 88 minutes of this movie, you'll
so what were
yourself.
some other considerations when you're thinking about Rex? Like,
I don't really want to give them away because I'm going to probably do it at another time. But I do want to do Somewhere in Time.
I also was generous. Yes, I'm generous.
If you wreck me Requiem for a Dream or some sort of animal death movie, I'm never coming back.
So I know how you are about animals, so I would never do the animal thing to you. But I was thinking Marley and Me. I won't make you watch that. And then no, Requiem, for personal reasons, I wouldn't want to wreck that to you. No, I'm being generous. I really think this is it's a really good movie. House of Sand and Fog. Have you?
I've never
know anything
seen
about it.
No.
Okay, good.
Done.
I'll love for you to talk about this during the rec segment next month. So I have on my list to watch Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. Is that what it is?
It is.
And you have House of Sand and Fog.
Do you know who Gabrielle Anwar is?
No, I have no idea who that is.
That's the main actress. She's really good.
Oh, wait, I do know who Gabrielle.
You do?
Well, all right. I'll find out more about that.
She's in
next
Burn
month.
Notice?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Burn Notice. Yeah, I know her from My Father the Bride.
Woman? Yeah.
My Father the Bride?
I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe I'm mixing her up with someone else. Anyway, we'll find out more next month. I want to close by just giving thanks to Carrie for agreeing to do this. Kind of hope, I don't know if this is like a permanent thing for you. Eventually, the whole premise of this was to do this with my best man Lo, who has chosen to choose getting his degree over doing a podcast. Get your priorities in order, buddy.
Right, education.
Yeah. So thanks for filling in.
Sure.
Thanks to you, Kathy Clark. Has her own blog. She helped design the logo that you'll see on our website, alternativeendingpod.com, as well as our Facebook and Twitter. Thanks to her. She also has her own food blog, Bijou and Bits. Did I pronounce that right? Again,
I don't think so, you did.
French words, man.
French is hard.
I have trouble with the French. The music you've been listening to during our breaks and our outros, intros, all that, that's, I just mentioned my buddy Lo from his band Fervor. Check his music out at fervorband.com. Mike Garrigan helped pick out all the studio equipment that we have here. Check out his stuff at mikegarrigan.com. I want to thank my family for all of the Christmas gifts that Mike recommended that they bought for me. And then everybody
You're
who's...
like thanking me. I actually bought you.
Yeah, you bought a lot of the stuff, and then some of the stuff
like
I borrowed kind of from allowance for future things. But I want to thank all you listeners for tuning in to Alternate Ending. Our next show will air Monday, February 1st. What do you think about covering top 5 movies of 2015? So we can actually get into... You already got started. You're already ahead of the game. And I was thinking, what do you think, top 5 date movies?
Sure.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks for checking us out. We'll catch you next month.